Hi everyone, this is Deb. This is challenge number 1 for Call Me Crafty Owl, who is Alicia's November no spend crafting challenge. Now she is doing the no spend, and I had told her I can't do a total no spend because there's another collab I'm in that I might have to buy some things for, because I don't know yet, because I don't know what we're supposed to make. So anyway, she said that's okay as long as you don't spend for the projects that you do for her challenge. I'm perfectly fine with that. And so I am doing her challenge number 1, which is embossing folders. And the reason you're looking at this Happiness Surrounds stamp set is because this image here is what my starting point was for both cards that I did. I did 2 cards. And I'll tell you all about that as we go through. Okay, so the first one I did them both in this double Dutch format, which is flips up and it flips out and it stands up, and these little bottom things support, which you can't really see, support the big thing here. It probably would be better if it was an oval, but it works okay. It works okay. It actually stands up pretty good on its own. So embossing folders. Let me go down the list of what I used, because I used several in this one. But first of all, let me explain what I did. This is Balmy Blue Stampin' Up ink. This is silver, I'm sorry, with clear embossing powder over it. So I stamped it in blue, then I stamped it again with Versamark, and then I put clear Stampin' Emboss powder on so that the blue would just be shiny. Then I stamped another image in Versamark inside there, and I embossed it with silver embossing powder. Now, she did not say anything about embossing this way, heat embossing, but I did anyway. And then I did the blue flower in the middle last, and that was the Balmy Blue with the clear, and then I just colored the center with a Stampin' Right So Saffron Stampin' Right marker, just to get that little poppy yellow. So then the problem was I didn't have Balmy Blue paper, but I had Pool Party, and I figured that was close enough. So I used So Saffron and Pool Party and Whisper White. These are all Stampin' Up products, as you might imagine. Now, the So Saffron and the Balmy Blue, I used the, guess what? Subtle Dynamic Textured Impression Embossing Folder. It just leaves a nice little subtle texture. And then I used the Tin Tile Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. Last time I used that, I think I used it on galvanized metal paper, but this time I used it on the silver foil sheets, but it was really, really, really bright, and I had to darken it a little bit, so I took my StazOn. I tried it with Memento. It didn't work. So I ended up taking one of these sponges. Actually, here's the one. I actually tried it with the Balmy Blue too, and it didn't work. Just took a little StazOn and dabbed it on, and then I took a baby wipe, probably not this one. Anyway, and I just kind of rubbed it around, and it darkened the silver just a little bit to make it look a little more age. It's still pretty bright, but, and I wanted to have some silver showing through to go with the embossing powder that I had put on, the heat embossing. So I did that the same way on these outer doors. This piece I had done in regular Whisper White, so I backed it in So Saffron, and I just went around the edges with Balmy Blue Stampin' Right marker also, to make it pop a little bit and make it a little sturdier and weightier. And then on the inside, I just used the Pool Party, but that I embossed with this Pinewood Planks Dynamic Textured Embossing Folder. It's like a wood grain. it's hard to tell because it's behind the whisper white, but you can see a little bit of the wood peeking out, or I can anyway. It's a little more defined than the subtles for sure, and it's got different wood pieces. Anyway, that's what I did. This, I just stamped off the little flower in the happiness surrounds. It was this flower at the bottom and the top. Oh, and this piece, I actually stamped it with the Sending Positive Thoughts and did all this stamping, and then I ran it through the Subtles embossing folder as well, so it also has some texture. I'm going to have all these products listed down below. I had a little problem with this right here. I actually ended up putting it in my Stamparatus, which is this, which I love, love, love. I had stamped it once without it, and it just, like, this one showed and none of these, in the balmy blue. So I did it 2 more times on the Stamparatus, and it came out okay, but then I think I didn't let it dry enough because it smeared just a little bit when I ran it through the embossing folder. So that is my first double Dutch card using embossing folders I have in my stash. And the second one is similar. Oh, and the reason I wanted to do this fold, well, here's the thing. I didn't know what to do with this this large design. I really wanted to use this. And this is the first one that I did. I wanted to do like a, how do they call that? All 3 metals, silver, gold, copper kind of thing. But I didn't like the way this one came out. I still may do that on something, but because you have to do one at a time, and by the time you get to this one, I don't know how to avoid this, and maybe you guys can help me. The other ones actually start to melt too much because they've been heated, you know, twice already. By the time you get to the third one, it's their third heating, and they get a little bit too hot. So I wasn't real happy with how that turned out. And if anybody has any suggestions on that, please let me know, because I'm, you know, sort of the newbie at this. So I wanted to use that, and the metallic idea, embossing idea, came to my head because I was embossing yesterday. So that was the first thing. I got this. Ooh, I can do a triple embossing. Then, I guess it was last night, I was rewatching a Jen Evers. She does a Friday night crafting session on her YouTube channel. She's Jen Evers of Quality Crafts. She had done this double Dutch fold, and I had an aha moment, because to me, I have a Dutch-German background in my family. My father's father used to speak with the Amish even, in their dialect, their language. I never understood a word he was saying, and I didn't see him that often, but we have German Dutch in our background. This looks like one of those hex signs that the Amish have, at least out in Lancaster area, Lancaster County in Pennsylvania here. So it sort of reminded me of that, and I think the next one I want to do a lot more colorful, and I just have to figure out how to do it. So I'm going to do that. And then I was watching Jen, and it was like double Dutch fold. So I thought the hex thing and double Dutch, it all kind of just reminded me of Amish, and then this is like old country tin tile. So that's the first one. The second one I did mono, and I did not do heat embossing. I also didn't do this this stamp here with like the leaves on it. Maybe you can see it better on this one with the gold. I didn't do that because I felt like it was too busy, and I just like the simple flower in the middle of this and the black and white. Oh, and one more thing. This one I used the stitched shapes framelits, and this is the largest circle in the stitch shape framelits. So on this I used the layering circles, and I used the largest for this and the smallest ones for these. The Hello Friend, all these stamps are out of that Happiness Surrounds. I used the subtle embossing folder on Smoky Slate, and then I used the tufted, which I think I mentioned already, for the black on here. I don't know if you can even see it. It has like a quilted, tufted, like, you know, the back of furniture, how they have the little buttons tufted in. That's what it sort of looks like. I don't know if you can see it or not, because it's glary here to me. And then when you open it up on the inside, I just put smoky slate, and there I used the subtle embossing folder. I did not emboss this. I used the congratulations out of the Happiness Surrounds, and also this little design here stamped so much nicer with the Memento Tuxedo Black. That is a one stamp attempt, so I don't know why it wasn't working with the Balmy Blue. Maybe my ink is too juicy in that yet. I don't know, but it worked really good with the Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I also used the Detailed Trio Punch to just do the corners, make them a little fancier. So that is my projects. Those are my projects for project 1, challenge 1 of Call Me Crafty Owl's November No Spend challenge, which was to be embossing folders. And guys, I have a ton of embossing folders, but I only have about let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 embossing folders. Yep, from Stampin' Up. So I didn't have a lot to choose from, and I wanted to do one more thing with this Happiness Surrounds, you know, part of the Snowflake Showcase that Stampin' Up has only good in the month of November. I wanted to do that. So I think, other than maybe doing my colorful scenario like the Amish hex signs, I think I'm probably about finished with that, and that may have to wait a little while too. But I would be doing that on the Double Dutch design as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. Go check out Call Me Crafty Owl Alicia. Check out her #1 challenge video, and I think we're supposed to post a link to our videos beneath that when we do them. So yeah, be sure to go check that out, because there may be other videos. I know I've seen one already for the #1 challenge, and I will be doing also her #2 challenge, but I haven't done it yet, so stay tuned for that sometime in the next week or two. Okay, hugs, love, and peace. Have a good day.